quiet town in the southern United States, a strange darkness began to settle over the local high school. The school was small, only about 200 students attended, and it had a football field that sat eerily silent at night. But in 2019, that quiet was shattered, and what started as a few strange occurrences soon turned into something far more sinister. It started in 2019, when one student, just a regular guy named Jake, stayed behind after baseball practice. As he filmed down one of the long empty hallways, something caught his eye. At first it was a simple shadow, a face that seemed to poke out from behind a door. When Jake rushed to investigate, there was no one, just a locked door. The air around him was eerily silent. No footsteps, no door closing, just the lingering feeling that something had been there. He was left with nothing but the video evidence, and that was just the beginning. Jake's footage was shaky, but clear enough. He had seen something that didn't belong. But the door had been locked. No one was there. The encounter left him with more questions than answers.
As strange as Jake's experience was, it wasn't the only one. Carter, another student from the same school, began hearing whispers, faint voices coming from outside his window at night. But it wasn't just whispers. Sometimes, he'd hear voices right outside his door, at all hours. No one was ever there when he checked. It was as if something, or someone, was just beyond the walls, waiting.
Then, one night, as the clock struck 1:40 a.m., something happened to the narrator. A scream, loud, inhuman, like something choking on its own voice, pierced the night. When he peered outside his window, he saw it, a dark, unnatural figure standing in his front yard. It was tall, too tall, with no discernible features, just a pitch-black mass that screamed and howled, yet remained motionless. The figure's outline flickered like a shadow in the night. Terrified, he closed his curtains and hid until morning. A few weeks after the first encounter, another incident rattled the narrator. He was woken by his mother, asking why the door was locked. But when he tried to open it, it wouldn't budge. The door, which had no lock, wouldn't open no matter how hard he pulled. It was as if something was holding it shut. For 30 minutes he struggled, but finally, it released with a sudden, eerie snap. When his mother asked him what had happened, he couldn't explain it. He had no answers, but he was sure of one thing. Something in the house had been holding that door. And then, at a basketball game weeks later, the same shadow appeared. The protagonist walked past the school and there it was, standing in the window. He couldn't make out any details, but its presence was undeniable. It was staring directly at him. He tried to look away, but every time he glanced back, it was still there. The figure didn't move. And then, in a blink, it was gone, vanishing like smoke in the night. Fast forward to 2024, and the terror returned. While at a football game, the protagonist and his friends saw it again. Another flash, a shadow darting from corner to corner. But this time, it was different. The figure stopped at a window. Its neck was stretched impossibly long, at least 2 feet, and it was towering, standing at least 12 feet tall. When they stared, it stared back, and before they could blink, it vanished, leaving nothing but the cold air behind. Everything changed that night. As they moved through the school, the group stopped near a door, noticing a shadow lurking beneath. They turned to leave, but footsteps, heavy, deliberate, echoed behind them. The figure emerged from the darkness, its neck impossibly long, its hollow eye holes filled with the dark abyss of eternity. It grinned a forever smile as its long arms dragged it forward with terrifying speed. The protagonist bolted for the exit, barely escaping, but he knew, whatever it was still inside the school. He never went back to the school at night. And though his friends tried to move on, they all knew the truth. The thing was still there, lurking in the shadows, waiting. The stories lived on, whispered among the younger students who were now encountering strange happenings themselves. But no one spoke of it directly. No one dared. Because they all knew. Some things should never be acknowledged.